when I say sidechaining in this instance, we mean ducking elements so they make room for other elements. It depends exactly on what you need, but generally speaking, you don't want too many things occupying the same space on your frequency spectrum. So like, this is more true for the low end than it is for the high end. And like the further you get up, the less true it becomes. It's like a sliding scale. You want basically one element at a time in anywhere below this, probably here, pretty much. Any one element at a time. So you sidechain aggressively here. Generally speaking, most people sidechain aggressively for the rest of it because then you get that pump, which is nice. I think Daft Punk, they always would do it with that. But you can actually be a bit more subtle up here. So actually, if we bring everything together here and we stop soloing particular bands. So first we grab our low end. Let's just listen to the lows on their own. Wow, phase. Ugh. A little less, a little more out. A little more out? This is why this is what we live for. Okay, so it's out for a little long now, so let's. Yeah, that's pretty good. Happy with that. This particular sidechain process is a 2-band multi-band sidechain process. So the low end is very tightly sidechained. It's tight. It's basically binary. Like it's like either fully sidechained out or it's full scale, like full volume. So we're doing that for our low end so that we can have our kick get rid of absolutely everything. If we mute our kick, you'll see that completely silent. So the beginning of the bar line is here. So the kick is filling in that gap there on its own for the low end because you don't want anything, you don't really want layers in your low end. You want just one thing. See that? And the high end you do to taste. I quite like that level of push out it has. So then we listen to the tops. This might be one of those instances where we want really, really subtle side chaining, but also a bit of pump. So if I want to do that, usually I'll do something like this. Does that make sense? Because it's like it properly like sidechains out where it needs it, and like a little extra pump up once it gets to the next eighth. Leaves a little bit of room for the hi-hat transient there too. You can do more aggressive things like this. See how it feels more pumped, a bit more aggressive. You can also like do stuff that's a lot more subtle. This, like, does that make sense? It's quite small. It's quite a small difference, especially in this case, actually. A really obvious pump would be like, which a lot of people still do. I'm not a fan of it personally, but it can definitely work in a particular aesthetic. Yeah, I like that. Probably get filled up. Usually I'll find I'll have a different sidechain for my snares because you don't need to take out anywhere near as much low end because the snare is much shorter and higher pitched. The point is that once you get to clipping your master or mastering your track, you don't want to actually have to worry about this shit. Okay, actually I think the top end doesn't need a different sidechain per thing. We only want to swap the low end, and there's already one for that, which is D sharp. So we're going to swap the low end to a D sharp there. And then this means there's low end over the tail of the snare now, instead of if we do this. Look at how much more room, how much more low end we're getting. See here, all the low end's gone. All the low end's just disappeared. But if we trigger it like this, oops, shit. See how we've got low end there now? It doesn't sound any different. We've just managed to get ourselves like 3 or 4 more oscillations of our low end, which is why adaptive sidechaining is really good.